Hello, my friends, I'm Al, and welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. Today, we're going to be listening to a song which I have heard before, don't worry. This is Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. I think a lot of people have heard this song, but I want to say I've heard it, but I haven't heard it, per se. I would like to break down and actually really just, within my studio environments, listen to this song sonically, hear what's going on. It's quite a long song. If memory serves, I don't think there's a lot of changes throughout the song, but we'll listen and we'll hear it. Now, before we get into the song, I just want to say very quickly, over 95% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. Now, it's free to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't enjoy the content. But I'm trying to build a community here where we can talk about these songs. Now, I'm going to listen to the song sonically. I'm going to talk about it sonically, and lyrically, that's where you guys come in. I want you guys to jump into the comments if you're happy to and talk about what you think about the song, how you perceive the lyrics, their meaning, your understanding. And if you are a sound engineer as well, or you have an interest in kind of in sound engineering, please let me know your thoughts on the sonic profile of the song as well. Without further ado, let's listen to Money for Nothing and let's see where this takes us. There's a lovely synth there which sounds a lot like a flute almost. It's beautiful, really.
The way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Now that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Let me tell you, damn guys ain't dumb. Maybe get a blister on your little finger. Maybe get a blister on your thumb. We got to install microwave ovens. Kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. To the little faggot with the earring and the makeup. Yeah, buddy, that's his own hair. The little faggot got his own jet airplane. The little faggot, he's a millionaire. We got to install microwave oven, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. Move on, move on. and the cameraman. We could have some. And he's up there. What's that? Hawaiian noises. He's banging on the bongos like a chimpanzee. Oh, that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Get your money for nothing. Get your chicks for free. We got to install microwave oven, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. Listen here, now, that ain't working. That's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Money for nothing. Chicks for free. Money for nothing. And your chicks for free. Ooh, and money for nothing. Chicks for free. 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 Look at that. Easy money, easy chicks for free. Easy money for nothing. Chicks for free. That ain't working.
You know what? I'm so glad I went back to speak about this song because sonically there is a lot to talk about, and I'm going to rattle off now. 8 minutes is a long song, and there was stuff I was hearing in that first minute, which I'm really going to... I don't want to forget now. Okay, first and foremost, the vocals are very interesting. They're very interestingly mixed with the backing vocals. Now, usually you hear a backing vocal panned right or left more than they are in this song, sorry. Now, I like to try and look at this. Think of a pie, a full circular pie with a small chunk taken out of the bottom. About 270 degrees is the feel we're looking at when you typically look at stereo panning. If we're looking at it almost like a broken clock, even, I would say usually you'd have vocals panned at maybe 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So quite far. A little bit of space between the lead vocal and then the percussion. This was maybe, 2 minutes past the hour. These backing vocals. The backing vocals sound a little bit like Sting. I'm not sure if I might just be hearing things, but they kind of sounded like Sting on kind of a second listen or a proper listen. But really nicely mixed. Really nice use of very, very subtle reverb, but also the harmony is just perfect, and that's what really sets this aside. They're so low in the mix that you can't tell they're there apart from the harmony, and that's exactly how a backing vocal should be for a song like this. Obviously, for some other productions, you want a kind of a grander soundscape, you want ambience, you want reverb and echo, and you want everyone to hear the backing vocals as almost, not almost, but as an instrument. With this, you can tell the backing vocals are there from the beautiful harmony, but otherwise, they almost disappear and let Mark just sit up front, which is brilliant. For a song like this, it's brilliant. I really like Mark's vocals. I like the way they're mixed. His voice sounds great, but also there's not too much reverb on his vocal. There's not too much delay. There's just enough for it to subtly sit exactly where you want it to, kind of mid-center in the kind of the stereo soundscape. The guitar tone on this track is obviously incredibly famous. You can hear the guitar tone alone and you know it's money for nothing. What I haven't heard until today is that this is a double track guitar. And that's really interesting. Now, towards the end of the song, I was trying to work out whether this was Mark double tracking his own guitar piece, and it might have been. But towards the end of the song, you can very distinctly hear that in the left channel, that's the iconic guitar tone, and the guitar in the right channel, which was noodling, wasn't the same. Now, I don't know much about Dire Straits in terms of members. I know Mark Knopfler. That's it. So please let me know, is this... I'll have to look this up as well afterwards, but is this a double track from guitar from Mark himself, or is this two guitarists? If I know I mentioned that the backing vocal sounded like Sting, is this Sting? That would be really interesting if it was. I don't know. But the guitars were double tracked beautifully, and they played off one another really nicely. Tonally, they sounded very similar. Obviously, the left stereo field was the iconic guitar. What I'm thinking, kind of on second listen, and this is a technique I like to use, but also like almost like a ping pong. This very easily could have been two different guitar tones, and they just ping pong when mixing this. They ping ponged Mark's guitar. So you have the iconic tone. At one point, it was coming out of the right field, and then bounces to the left. Swap the guitars, keep swapping them over. Very interesting idea if it was. It's a technique that I do quite like to use sometimes. It's just fun. It's creative production, and that's the main thing. But yeah, no, really beautiful guitar piece. The drums, lovely dry sound to them, which you really probably want with rock drums at least. I'm not a huge fan of overly processed drums, but I think with this, they just sat beautifully in kind of in the stereo field. The soundscape was, at times, almost felt like it was quite narrow, almost on the border of mono, and then you have suddenly the guitars, you hear them again, and you're reminded that this is just brilliant space created through brilliant mixing. But one of the most important things, or one of the most interesting things for me listening to the song, were the synth stabs. They really, they defined the song in a way. And there's something that I've never paid attention to until now. But they, especially in the intro, I know I mentioned I unmuted the microphone, and I apologize for doing so. I don't like to pause the songs, but I also do want to say some things sometimes. The synth at the start with the I Want My MTV vocal sounded like a flute. Now, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a mellotron style of flute. It sounds like a synthesizer. It's probably just a hand-built synth, I'd imagine. It's a lot of the stuff with the 80s, a lot of hand-built synths, and that's the best way to do it. I love building synths. The tones you can get out of a modular synth is incredible. But I think that was really beautiful. But the synth stabs throughout the song, there were so many different synth sounds, especially in that very, very quick build up to the iconic intro starting. I heard about 4 different synth pads being used, and that's awesome. Really cool. Off the top of my head, I think that's all I had to mention. All I really had to say. It was beautifully mixed, but I think there were just so many little things in there that make the song what it is, really kind of adding to the soundscape, I suppose. But yeah, please let me know. So like lyrics wise, the lyrics are quite self-explanatory. I don't want to dive into them. I want you guys to do that if you're comfortable with doing so. In the comments, I can talk about the kind of the production. You guys talk about the lyrics, and together we will create one big picture. And also, of course, you can talk about the production as well in the comments. If there's things that I've missed out, if there's things you want to add, context, history of the song, please let me know. But yeah, no, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If there are more songs, either from Dire Straits or from related artists that you'd like me to hear, please let me know. I read every comment. I work quite a tough shift pattern, so or long shifts. I work long shifts at least. So I read every comment. I will try and at least heart your comments once I've read it. If I can, I'll try and respond. But I just want you to know I read every single comment. It's just when I can find the downtime between working shifts. But yeah, please let me know if there's other songs you want to listen to. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and take care.